It started with a teacup, small, simple ceramic, the kind offered to guests in meetings, the kind that carries respect in silence. But this one almost carried death. President Ibrahim Traoré was in a private meeting at a military base outside Ouagadougou. Nothing big, just a quiet gathering of senior officers and advisors to discuss logistics for an upcoming operation in the east. Calm, casual, nothing unusual. They sat in a circle under a mango tree. Cups of warm spiced tea were passed around by a soldier in plain uniform. Traoré took the cup, as always, with a smile. He nodded in thanks, but then he paused. He didn't sip. Not yet. His eyes flicked toward the server, a new face, young, nervous. He held the cup in both hands gently like it was, glass across the circle. Colonel Yahya Konate, an old officer known for his sharp mind and cold eyes, took his first sip quickly, almost too eagerly. He looked at the president and said, "Please drink, sir. The tea is fresh." But Traoré didn't move. He smiled. Then slowly he placed the cup down on the small wooden table beside him. The air around them shifted slightly. Not enough for a normal person to notice, but Captain Zongo, sitting in the back, like always, saw the signal. Traoré had trained with wolves. He knew how betrayal smelled 2 hours earlier. Inside the palace, Traoré had received an anonymous tip, a small note left on his desk while he was in a meeting watch. "Your tea today. They will test your trust." No name, no clue, just that one warning. He didn't ignore it. Instead, he played along. He stuck to the schedule, traveled to the base, sat among men he had known for years, and waited for someone to show their hand. And now, as the untouched cup sat between them, something was very, very wrong. Traoré looked straight at Colonel Konate and said, "You know, I always find it interesting how many things can hide inside something as small as a cup." Konate gave a tight smile. "That's the beauty of tea, sir, or the danger," Traoré replied. Then he stood up slowly, and the tone of the entire meeting changed. President Ibrahim Traoré stood tall, his hands behind his back eyes, steady on Colonel Konate. Everyone else at the meeting froze. The air turned thick. The birds nearby had gone silent, as if they too were waiting for what came next. Traoré didn't raise his voice. He didn't pull rank. He just asked a question, quiet but sharp, like a blade. "Colonel, do you trust the people who poured this tea?" "Colonel," Konate blinked. His lips tightened. "Of course, Mr. President," Good Traoré said. He turned to one of the aides and pointed to the untouched cup. "Then please drink mine." The aide reached for the cup. Confused, Konate's eyes widened. "No, wait," he said quickly. "We don't want to mix cups. There could be hygiene." Traoré raised his hand. "Hygiene, Colonel, or poison." The circle of officers went silent. You could hear the wind brushing against the trees. Konate tried to recover. "Mr. President, I assure you no one here would." But Traoré was already walking away from the table. He pulled out a small walkie-talkie and spoke 2 words. "Bring him within seconds." 2 soldiers came forward, escorting the young Tierva, the nervous soldier in plain uniform. His hands tied behind his back, he looked terrified. His mouth was shaking. One of the president's bodyguards placed a small pouch on the table. Inside it, a tiny plastic vial found hidden in the server's sock. The label on it read in tiny writing, VXT42, a slow-acting neurotoxin enough to kill a man within minutes, colorless, tasteless, odorless. And now sitting inside a teacup meant for the Lion of Burkina Faso, the president turned to the circle of officers. "I've led soldiers into real battles," he said calmly, "and I've buried brothers in war, but this betrayal from inside our own house is worse than any enemy." Then he looked at Konate again. "You invited me here, you arranged the tea, and you told me to drink first." Konate stood up slowly, his face pale. "This is madness." But Captain Zongo was already moving within seconds. Konate was surrounded. Traoré stepped closer, face to face. "Did you think I wouldn't feel it, Colonel? You think I made it this far by drinking every cup handed to me?" Konate said nothing. Traoré leaned in. "Men like you don't want power to serve, you want it to sell." Then he gave the order. "Take him in. No public arrest. We're not giving them a show, we're giving them silence." As the colonel was led away, the rest of the officers sat in disbelief. The poison had failed, but the message was clear: the lion had been tested, and he did not blink back. At the palace, the traitor was locked in a cold underground room, the kind where the walls heard every word but never spoke. Colonel Knight refused to talk. He denied everything, claimed he had nothing to do with the young tea server, said he didn't know about any poison, that he was being framed. But President Ibrahim Traoré wasn't interested in shouting matches. He believed in evidence, quiet, sharp, and solid. Captain Zongo walked into the interrogation room with a small black notebook. It had been found hidden in the soldier's bag, the tea server who nearly served death in a cup. Zongo flipped it open, showing it to Knight. "This is your handwriting," he said. We checked inside. The pages were coded names, meeting dates, and strange payment lists, including a large transaction just days before the attempted poisoning. But one name appeared more than any other: El Shakal, the jackal Traoré was watching from behind the mirror. He turned to his aide and asked, "Have we heard this name before?" The aide nodded slowly. "Yes, sir. It came up once in an intercepted call, 3 months ago, linked to foreign intel." Traoré's expression hardened. So this goes beyond Konate. This was no lone wolf. There was a bigger hand behind the cup. Later that evening, Traoré called a silent emergency meeting with only his most trusted men, including Zongo, 2 counterintelligence officers, and 1 civilian cyber expert who had worked on decoding files in the previous coup attempt they gathered in the underground war room. Zongo laid the notebook on the table. "This name, Lash Shakal, he's the handler. He gives the orders. The soldier was just a tool. Konate was the delivery system." Traoré nodded. "So what we need is the source." The cyber expert worked fast, connecting phone records, digital trails, satellite pings. Most of the lines had been wiped clean. But one message stood out. It was a burner phone used only once. The text said for the cup, "Tomorrow he will see nothing," sent from a location less than 2 kilometers from the French consulate in Ouagadougou. Zongo looked up. "So he's still here." Traoré folded his arms. "If he's hiding in this city, then we are not hunting a ghost. We are hunting a man." And the hunt had just begun. The game had changed no longer. Was it just about catching a corrupt colonel? Now they were chasing the man behind it all. Le Shakal, the shadowy figure who gave the orders and vanished without a face. But Ibrahim Traoré wasn't going to wait for another attack. This time, he would strike first. The cyber expert traced the burner phone's final signal to a luxury apartment building in Ouaga 2000. A quiet upscale area known for diplomats, foreign business workers, and international aid contractors. The building had no cameras in the hallways, too convenient. "Whoever this jackal is," said Zongo, "he has protection. He knows how to hide." Tro leaned over the table in the war room. "Then we don't search for him like soldiers, we smoke him out like a thief." He approved a silent plan operation. Glass eye, no uniforms, no sirens, no announcements, just shadows watching shadows. They placed watchers around the apartment block, disguised as cleaners, fruit sellers, delivery boys. One soldier posed as a building repairman and got inside, planting tiny cameras in hallway corners and vents. Then on day 3, they saw him, a tall, pale, skinned man with a sharp jaw and dark glasses, clean-cut, calm, and always wearing a hat. He didn't match any official embassy staff, but he had a key to apartment 3B, the same location that matched the phone signal. He was careful, never left at the same time, never used the same car twice, but he made one mistake. He ordered food. Traoré smiled when he heard it. "Good, let's deliver it ourselves that night." Zongo dressed as the delivery man, a bag of food in one hand, a tiny listening device in the other. When the door opened, the man stared hard at him, cold, sharp. He said nothing, just paid in cash, took the food and closed the door. But it was enough. The device had recorded everything. His voice, his movements, even the way he walked back. In the war room, the voice was run through software. A match popped up: Alexandre Morel, a French intelligence officer linked to activities in West Africa, officially retired, but known in classified circles as Lacal. It was him, the man who gave the Order to kill President Ibrahim Traore over tea, but arresting him wouldn't be easy. He had no diplomatic badge, but if they captured him in public, foreign powers could scream kidnapping if they raided the apartment. He could disappear in seconds. His exit routes were likely covered. Traore thought for a long moment. Then he said, "Let's give him what he wants." Zongo raised an eyebrow. "Sir, we tell him I'm holding a private dinner invite, only important guests. He'll try again." Zongo nodded slowly, and when he comes, Traore's eyes narrowed. "We end it." The trap was set. President Ibrahim Traore announced a quiet, high-level dinner to be held inside the presidential villa. Just a few trusted guests, no press, no public list word, spread quietly through the usual channels, just loud enough for a certain someone to hear Zongo. And the team kept eyes on Apartment 3B. They didn't see Morel leave, but they did see his phone activate again, a new burner. This one pinged a message across the city. It meant another assassination attempt was coming, but this time Traore was not the target. He was the bait. Inside the palace kitchen, the entire catering team had been replaced by counterintelligence officers in chef uniforms. Every utensil, every dish, every cup checked and marked hid.